Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I'll start with the big picture, the weekly chart, work my way into the day itself. This is a 5-year chart going back some 5 years, and it shows obviously pretty well how several weeks ago we spent several weeks testing the low 350s, not closing above it on a weekly basis, which is our requirement for longer term buy and sell signals. So this area was tested and we fell away. 351.39 is a 50% upside retracement from the December high against the more recent April low, and 353.69 is a 2-year channel structure that we settled above in November that set off a buy signal anticipating the 516.05 5-year channel top. We rallied to within a hair of it before falling away and then subsequently closing back below the channel, which set off continued selling pressure. So here we are again. The low 350s remain our overhead price ceiling. You can see that representation on the daily chart. You can see how we closed above it for 3 days a couple of weeks ago before falling back later in the week and setting off a sell signal. That sell signal anticipating 293.42, which we did test. This big sell-off, this particular first test of that 293.42 channel bottom was the Trump-Musk feud. And it held obviously pretty well. And since we've tested the channel bottom, we'd mentioned any short positions that may have been established in the low 350s should be covered at the 293.42 channel bottom. And you could consider reversing and going long back into the low 340s. And that's where we are. We have stalled out over the last week at the 5/8 upside Fibonacci, a level we mentioned all along as a decent area for day trading, a possible 3 to 5 day swing trade. Without a settlement above 331.61, we can quite easily over the next few days test 309.31, which is the 3/8 Fibonacci, using the same extremes of the May high against that more recent June low. But we only see that as an intraday support level. I don't see that as a level you want to buy through the rest of the week. I really think holding below 331.61 will keep 293.42 in reach again. If not this week, then by the end of next week. And yes, if we close below 309.31, I think we can expect 293.42 within just another couple of days activity, where we could bottom out through July perhaps, or at least into July, and from here round back up into the low 350s. We could fill this wedge out for the next 3-4 weeks before the market tips its hand in one direction or another. And so let's cover the upside then. If we happen to push through or open above 331.61, this former channel bottom is once again in reach, perhaps today. This is closing in on this low 350s resistance, so it will become part of that range over the next day or two anyway. Bottom line, closing today above 331.61, which we've yet to do. The market is yet to close above this 5/8 upside Fibonacci, and if we do so today, we are expecting a retest of the 351.39 to 353.69 area, where we could top out once again through July and fall away back to the 293.42 channel bottom. So 331.61 is a solid, I don't want to call it a 3 to 5 day swing trade. I want to call it like a 1 to 3 day swing trade, because I do think closing above 331.61, we should within 1 or 2 days, 3 at the very most, retest the 351.39 to 353.69 area. In terms of the downside, is it a 3 to 5 day swing trade to the downside? It is, but volatility is very quiet right now. We could see this by the end of the week, 293.42. I think our clear indication for that, as I mentioned a moment ago, would be a settlement below 309.31. So 309.31 can contain intraday, potentially daily selling pressures on the way down to 293.42. Holding below 331.61 will keep it in reach. I don't see a clear sign. There's no clear sell signal at play. You're just sort of kind of waiting it out if you are short now below 331.61. But if we do a close above 331.61, you might not want to wait that long. I mean, we could open above 331.61 on Tuesday. And if we do, I think that brings buying pressures on right out of the gates. We could potentially see this 348.31 former channel bottom. Really the part of a range up to 351.39 to 353.69 that, as I say, can absorb buying not only for the day, not only for the week, but even into July. And from here we can fall away. if we do close above 353.69 at the end of this week, and it really needs to be a weekly settlement that sets off a long-term buy signal through the rest of the year. By the end of the year, we actually could see 516.05, but I see no reason to consider 516.05 a realistic by the end of the year target unless we close above 353.69. Until then, we are destined, if you will, to continue testing 293.42. And it's actually in reach, I'd say, by the end of next week, below 331.61. And certainly this week, if we happen to violate 309.31. 293.42, well suited, as I say, to contain selling through next week into early July. And from here, we can round up again into the low 350s. Now, if we do close below 293.42, I see that as a significant sell signal that should play out not only into July, but even into August. I would expect probably within 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 5 at the very most, 221.86. That is the low settlement price that was put out in April along this whole entire range. The lowest we settled on a daily basis was 221.86. And I would call this realistically, I'd say a 2 to 3 week target. We would need a slight spike in volatility, and I think we would get that with such a sell signal below 293.42. Now, 272.87 is a 5/8 downside Fibonacci. And at the time we tested the channel bottom at 293.42, it really was part of a narrow range. That range is opened up now. And so we're using 293.42 now as our downward pivot point. But it doesn't mean we don't respect 272.87 for its ability to contain daily selling pressures and really as a sort of affirmation, if you will, of a sell signal that would occur if we were to close below 293.42. So there's a number of ways to play this still.
If you're finding value in this analysis, it's only a glimpse of what we offer. Your real trading edge starts at wickedstocks.com. Each week, premium members receive 2 high-probability stock picks. Each one comes with a complete trade plan, including exact entry, profit target, stop loss, and regular updates so you can manage the trade with confidence. You'll also get daily video analysis in the top traded markets, the SPY, the Triple Q, and NVIDIA, highlighting the key price levels, trends, and trade setups we're focused on. Whether you're day trading or swing trading, these insights help you zero in on the highest quality opportunities with clarity. Try it all free for 5 days. Cancel at any time.
Worst case, you can buy 293.42, anticipating upward rotation to 351.39. If we close below 293.42, you want to exit that long position. And if we then close below 272.87, you can aggressively play the short side down to 221.86 within 2 to 3 weeks. I do think if we close below the 293.42 channel bottom, you can you can play the short side, anticipating the 159.95 to 166.05 5-year channel bottom. I do think that's realistic. You might also await settlement below 272.87. Like I said, there's a number of ways to play this. You can play the short side. Let's say you scale into a short position below 293.42 and you establish the balance with a settlement below the 272.87 5/8 Fibonacci. And if so, you're fully on the short side of the market with a settlement below 272.87. I think within 1 to 2 months, you can expect this long-term support in the 159.95 to 166.05 area, where we could bottom out not only through the rest of the year, but possibly well into next year. WickedStocks.com puts out 2 stock picks a week. We'll be putting one out today, Tuesday, another one on Thursday. We did 2 last week, Lam Research and Danaher Corporation. And the previous week was 3, Tempest AI, Adobe. So I could go on and on and on. They're all relevant still, and you can see them all for free by going to WickedStocks.com and taking advantage of our 5-day free trial, where you'll also see our Triple Q and Daily SPY report. Daily Triple Q and Daily SPY we've been doing every single day, just like the Daily Tesla and Daily NVIDIA report for 4 years now. We don't miss a day. So check it out at wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of that 5-day free trial. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with Wednesday's Tesla report. You have a great day.